What happens to the structure of society when civilization is stripped away? In a typical survival film, the hierarchy resets based on physical strength, outdoor instincts, and sheer will. But what if the person who suddenly holds all the cards on a deserted island isn't a seasoned outdoorsman, but a severely overlooked corporate accountant who has finally been pushed to her absolute limit? Our story begins far away from the sun-drenched beaches of a deserted island. Instead, Raimi traps us in the sterile, high-pressure environment of a modern corporate office. We are introduced to Linda Little, played with a brilliant, nervous energy by Rachel McAdams. Linda is a financial genius, a quiet, dedicated employee who has spent years fixing the structural mistakes of her superiors while remaining entirely invisible in the background. She has just uncovered a massive budgeting error that saved her firm millions, and she's been promised a life-changing promotion. Enter Bradley Preston, played with an effortlessly arrogant, Nepo baby charm by Dylan O'Brien. Bradley is the son of the company's chief executive. He is charismatic, loud, completely incompetent, and entirely unbothered by his own privilege. Instead of rewarding Linda, Bradley takes full credit for her financial discovery. To make matters worse, he informs her that she isn't getting the promotion because she lacks the quote-unquote executive look. He forces her to accompany him on a private business flight to Bangkok to finalize the deal she made possible, planning to sideline her permanently the moment they land. Sam Raimi handles this opening act with a grounded, almost suffocating realism. The lighting is harsh and fluorescent, emphasizing Linda's psychological imprisonment. But the universe has a very dark sense of humor. Mid-flight over the Gulf of Thailand, the private jet suffers a catastrophic dual-engine failure. In a sequence filmed with terrifying, kinetic camera movements, the plane breaks apart and plummets into the ocean. When the dust settles, the film's geography changes entirely. Linda wakes up coughing up saltwater on the shore of a remote, uncharted island. Physically, she is completely uninjured. Her first instinct is to look for survivors, and she quickly finds Bradley trapped near the wreckage on the edge of the jungle. But the corporate golden boy didn't make it out unscathed. Bradley's legs are horribly crushed, leaving him entirely paralyzed from the waist down and completely helpless. This is where the narrative logic of send help begins to flip the genre on its head. Initially, Bradley attempts to maintain the office hierarchy. Even while bleeding out on a beach, he demands that Linda fetch him water, build a shelter, and find his satellite phone. He speaks to her with the exact same condescending, managerial tone he used in the boardroom. But Linda looks around. There are no boardrooms here. There are no trust funds, no executive assistants, and no human resources departments. More importantly, Linda reveals a hilarious, dark secret to the audience through her internal monologue: she is an absolute obsessive fan of reality television survival shows. She knows exactly how to build a solar still for water, how to construct a lean-to shelter, and how to forage for edible flora. Bradley's status and wealth are officially worth zero. Her hyperfixation on survival trivia is the only currency that matters. For the first time in her life, Linda holds all the leverage. As the days turn into weeks, the film transitions from a survival drama into a full-on psychological horror show, reminiscent of Stephen King's Misery. Linda feeds Bradley, cleans his wounds, and keeps him alive under the shade of the jungle canopy. But she isn't doing it out of corporate loyalty or basic human kindness anymore. She realizes she enjoys the absolute control. Sam Raimi shifts his visual language beautifully in this chapter. He moves away from the wide, expansive shots of the beautiful island landscape and begins utilizing low-angle Dutch tilts and tight, claustrophobic close-ups on McAdams' face. We watch the subtle, terrifying evolution of Linda's psyche. Every time Bradley tries to apologize or manipulate her with promises of money and promotions back home, Linda sees right through it. She realizes that if they are rescued, she goes back to being invisible, and he goes back to being her master. The turning point of the entire film happens when a commercial fishing vessel finally passes close to the island's reef. Bradley sees it and screams for help, dragging his broken body toward the water. But Linda stands directly over him. Instead of lighting the signal fire she meticulously built, she calmly pours water over the flames, watching the ship fade into the horizon. When Bradley looks up at her in horror, realizing what she has done, Linda simply smiles and tells him it's time for his lunch. The savior has officially become the warden. The final third of Send Help is pure, unadulterated Sam Raimi savagery. Recognizing that Linda has completely lost her mind to vengeance, Bradley realizes he has to fight for his life despite his paralysis. What follows is a brutal, inventive battle of wits confined to the campsite. Bradley uses pieces of plane wreckage to fashion primitive weapons, while Linda employs tactical psychological warfare, withholding his food and medical supplies to break his spirit. The physical performances in this act are astounding. Dylan O'Brien channels a desperate, frantic energy, dragging himself through the mud and fighting with the wild-eyed intensity of Ash Williams from Evil Dead. Meanwhile, Rachel McAdams sheds every ounce of her timid corporate persona, transforming into a manic, calculating force of nature who views Bradley not as a human being, but as the ultimate project she finally gets to manage. The climax reaches a fever pitch during a tropical monsoon. Bradley manages to corner Linda inside the shelter, leading to a visceral, bloody confrontation where the lines between hero and villain are completely erased. Linda doesn't just want to defeat him, she wants him to explicitly admit that she was smarter, better, and more capable than he ever was. When she finally forces that confession out of his mouth, the illusion shatters. She realizes that trying to fix a broken corporate hierarchy on a deserted island is its own form of madness. In the end, Send Help works beautifully because it refuses to take the easy way out. It takes the very real, modern frustration of workplace exploitation and stretches it to its absolute, most extreme physical manifestation. Raimi balances the pitch-black comedy of the corporate satire with the genuine, stomach-turning tension of a psychological thriller. While some viewers might find Linda's rapid descent into villainy jarring, McAdams' performance grounds the character's pain, making her actions feel like the inevitable explosion of a volcano that has been dormant under pressure for far too long. It's a slick, mean, incredibly well-paced thriller that proves Sam Raimi hasn't lost a single step when it comes to manipulating an audience's comfort levels. But what did you think of the power dynamics in Send Help? Did you find yourself rooting for Linda's twisted justice, or did you end up feeling sympathetic for Bradley by the time the credits rolled? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, I read every single one of them. If you want to see more deep dives into the hidden logic of cinema, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to join the growing Frame Logic community. I'm your narrator, and I will see you right here in the next frame.